Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say a very, very big welcome to Capstone Project, ICT303. My name is Fadi Kutub. I'm very, very happy to be here with you today, and I'm really happy to be able to have the opportunity to really support you throughout the session by trying to build your knowledge step by step in this very, very important subject, because this subject is really not only a single subject, it is actually a double subject. So this subject, really, we're going to be doing a lot of work, and that work is going to go and be building up so that you guys are going to go and merge everything together to be able to have one big work down the track, which is going to be the big project that you are going to be implementing as part of Capstone 2. So whatever work you are going to be doing in this subject is going to be done in a very good quality manner, because not doing so is going to go and be resulting in an issue down the track, because you won't be able to go and really implement your project correctly in terms of Capstone 1, 2, and then you won't be able to really get a good outcome. So it is very, very important we start working very hard from the beginning. We understand all of these briefing documents. We understand the requirements of those assignments. We attend classes on a regular basis to build up on what do you guys need to go and be doing on a weekly basis. And it's very important you come, and I'll be teaching you about some documents, some files, things particularly important between weeks 2 and week 5, for example, or week 6. Before we start thinking about implementing the project from a project management perspective. So it is very, very important you continue attending your classes on a regular basis. And today you're here, that's the first step. And I really want to thank you very much for doing that, for being here today and showing me the motivation that I need to go and see in my students. Now, I want to first tell you something about me. I want to tell you about my journey to Australia. I wasn't born in this country. I didn't come to this country when I was a child. I came to Australia when I was 18 years old. I was a few months off from becoming 19 years old. And the purpose of coming to Australia was that I wanted to go and study. I wanted to go and make a degree. I wanted to go and make a future. But at the back of my mind, I also had another purpose. I really wanted to go and be able to hopefully have the chance to go and remain in this country. So I went and I studied in the IT field, and that was a degree that was on the demand list at that point of time. And that's still on the demand list today in Australia, which is basically open the pathway for a lot of you to hopefully be able to get permanent residency and stay in this country. So I came and I've followed the journey that you guys are following today. I was a student, I studied IT, I worked, I did the skilled assessment, I applied for the visa. I really followed all of your steps. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want you to know that me and you are not very different. We all followed that pathway. And although I followed that pathway before you and I was successful, I have no doubt that you will be able to go and follow the same pathway and be successful also, like I was successful as part of my journey. So I want you to be successful, and I want us to go and work together to help me guide you onto becoming successful, first of all in this course, and all the way until you finish your degree, and then whatever happens down the track. So start working hard from the beginning, because I am very keen to guide you to help you get the best outcomes. You probably know this by now. There is a lectorial, there is a webinar, and there is consultation that is available. The intro session is a 1-hour session, which is what we're doing today. It's every Monday between 4 and 5 p.m. I'll be introducing various topics that are relevant in terms of what we need to go and be doing in the webinar. I'll be giving you some activities that I would like you to go and undertake. And if you go and act in a serious enough manner, you'll be able to go and do my activities that I give you in the lectorial, and that will make your ability to do well, not simply in the webinar, but also in the course overall, in the assessment. It will basically make it much more easier to do so. There's no final exam here. So all the work you must do is basically need to be done properly to be able to get a good mark. Now, you basically need to know that almost, a large amount of the assignment are individual assignments. So if you go and look at for us to go and open for you the subject outline, you'll be able to go and see that there are a number of assessments you need to go and undertake, and I'll talk about them in further details a bit later. But you can see there's 30% and 20%. The majority of your assignment are individual assignment. And then your presentation mark is again something that is individual. So I need to go and see how you present it, and your mark would not necessarily be the same as what the group has actually earned. And there's obviously the group part, which is 40%, of the work that you need to go and do. But it's very, very important that you understand that there are many individual components. So you don't work hard, you won't pass the subject. You can't have a ride on other people's work and expect you are going to be passing the subject. That's not going to work in this subject, because a lot of your assignment are actually individual assignments. So you must really work hard from the beginning to get the right outcome. Now, moving on, there are 3 assignments, as I told you. There's an individual assignment. It's a scenario business case creation. Individual assignment 2, requirements planning and gathering. Team assignment, which is a solution design and implementing plan. And obviously the team presentation. Now, assignments 1 is due in week 4. Assignment 2 is due in week 6. And assignment 3 is due in week 11. Due in week 4, that's mean you must start working immediately, start working on the job. And start starting your lectorial activities, and start attending and doing your webinar activities, because that will guide you on what you need to go and really actually start doing. A scenario business case creation really focuses on what is your work, what do you need to do. So you need to go out there and identify a problem, and that's why you need to read the briefing document. You must identify a problem. Now, the question is, where are you going to be identifying the problem? Well, to be able to understand where you need to be identifying it from, you need to go to the Moodle site that I'm showing you at the moment. And you need to be able to go and see that there is, under the assessment section, you can see that there are assessment 1 briefing document, assessment 1 sample business case structure, assessment 2 briefing document, assessment 3 briefing document. So there's all of these. And at the moment, you need to really start looking at 1. And maybe if you want, after you finish 1, this is where you start looking at assignment 2. But now assignment 1 is really the most important thing. And there's a briefing document and there's a sample structure you'll be able to go and really rely upon. There's also on that site a very clear message from me. It's telling you whether you are in webinar A or webinar B. And it's also telling you that you can actually consult with me. It's telling you when the consultation is available, and it's telling you how you can reach me if you need to go and make a phone call. So I really encourage you to keep those details handy to be able to go and really get the outcomes you would like to go and get. Talking further, we have the requirements planning. What are the requirements planning about? The requirements planning are about this business case and this problem you're trying to go and solve. So you need to identify the problem to solve first. You need to create a business case to show us why is this problem worth actually doing. Once you do that, you need to go and look at the individual assignment, and you need to go and build on the first assignment, build from what you've done, come here and start working about the requirements planning and gathering. So tell me, what are the actual requirements for that particular assignment? What are the functional and non-functional requirements relating to that particular project you would like to go and deliver? And then from there, you pick up verse 1 and 2, you come here and you work in a group on basically designing a solution and an implementation plan for that particular project and requirements you've done. Now, because you're going to move from an individual assignment to a group assignment, if you're going to have 4 different requirements. There's 4 different assignments, 4 different requirements, 4 different projects. So what's going to happen there is you're going to come together, you're going to see what projects your teams have done, and you're going to guys agree on only selecting one to go and move ahead with for your group assignments. You're going to only have to design one and create an implementation plan for only one of these things. That's the burst due in week 11, the solution and the presentation, and we're going to be presenting the work in week 12. Any questions at all, my friends?
So there are 2 individual assessments?
100%. And the presentation, also your mark will most likely be individual.
Yeah, perfect.
Any other questions?
So one more question.
Tell me, my friend.
Maybe it's too early to ask, but what the programming language or what is the scripting language we're gonna use to make our project? Or something like a theory based, or we're gonna really work on?
There is no, it is, first of all, it is a bit early. And second of all, there is no limitation to what sort of things you are going to be able to go and be using. So you might be good in Java, you might be good in HTML, you might be good, depending on your project really. I really don't care how you plan to go and really be delivering it, what sort of language, what sort of structure, what sort of tools. The only thing I would say is you should be relying on what you are very strong at. And you should look at your team and see what sort of, what sort of tools or languages or whatever, you guys are strongest, and try to build something based on what you guys are already strong at, because you want to basically build on your strength as a team and deliver your outcome accordingly. Now, bear in mind, we are not making any solutions in this sexual subject. Okay, so all what you're doing here, you are designing. Okay, the implementation doesn't start until capstone 2. Does that make sense?
Okay, so that means we on capstone 1 we're gonna work on a front end, and in capstone 2 we're gonna work on a back end database type, something like that.
The way that I want you to think about it is differently. The capstone 1, you are required to go and understand what is the problem you want to solve. That's the first thing. You might say, I want to make an ordering system. I want to make a whatever. I want to make a website, or whatever you want. You need to go and check a problem and tell me, I want to solve that problem that relate to my specialization. Once you identify that problem, you need to go and research that problem to see what sort of requirements is needed to solve that problem, thinking about both functional and non-functional requirements. And you come to point 3, where I want you to start designing how you are going to be solving it. You might think about, UML, you might start creating some sort of potential how the page is going to look, what sort of design you're going to use. You might start discussing high level, what sort of language you're going to go and use to implement, but you're not implementing it. Okay, you're just creating the documentation relevant to starting the implementation of the project. So it's more about planning the whole thing that you're going to be doing, including the technical documentation that are relevant before you go to capstone 2 and start making the implementation.
Okay, so I got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And I need you to make sure you be reading all of my briefing documents, because they explain to you further and further. And I need you to be attending the lectures and webinars on a regular basis, because for example, when I talk about the, let's say, solution design and implementation planning, solution design, week 5 and week 6 will be covering a lot of relevant content that you'll be able to build your work upon. Implementation planning, we'll start basically talking from week 7 upwards and start talking about how can you potentially implement it, and I start guiding you. So you need to be coming on a regular basis, because I'll be discussing things that are relevant that will make your ability to do the task much more easier. Alrighty, matey, all clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Now do me a favor, guys. There is a thumbs up button that you can do on your system now. Just give it a go. I want to see that you can give me the thumbs up straight away on the system. So ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a number of topics I'm going to be covering. As I told you, for example, you go and talk about requirements. You can say, oh, what sort of requirements? Well, your requirements assignment is not due till week 6. So what have I done? Week 3 and week 4, I'm discussing requirements. Your first assignment is not due till week 4, talk about business case. So guess what? I'm going to talk about it in weeks 1 and week 2 specifically. Your third assignment is not due till week 11. So guess what? 4 and 5, 5 and 6, I start talking about some topics that are relevant. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, I'll start talking about more topics that are actually relevant. So I keep on guiding you throughout the process. And if you come, you'll be able to go and ensure you're getting the right information, but you must come regularly and get the information I'll be covering. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to support you. I care about you. I want you to do well. We are here very committed to equity, to diversity, to ensuring you guys get all the support that is available. We respect people from all backgrounds. We provide supporting environment to everybody. If you need any needs, any help, we are here to go and help you. However, there are processes you must follow. So for example, if anybody cannot submit their assignments on time, okay, this might happen, but you need to follow the process, because I have no authority to make any approvals by myself. You need to follow the process and get things done accordingly for me to be able to go and get you the right outcomes. There's a lot of support, personal support, academic support available. If you need help with English, we'll be able to go and help you. Tutorial and study support where necessary is also available. We could potentially help you link up to external community and cultural groups based on various programs. For example, in some of these subjects, we basically link you to businesses where you can do internships there, but you need to go and demonstrate that you are ready to go and do such an internship. Your skills and your commitment to doing things like that is ready, but we're really ready to go and really support you in the best way we are actually able to go and do so. We have a student support contact point officer. So if you also need help, please do not hesitate to contact us. I'm personally very happy to help you, and the team at SASSC are very, very ready to go and help you. One very, very important thing to know about is academic integrity. You cannot copy, you cannot paste. None of these assignments require you to copy and paste. They're all individual, they're all specific, and they're all basically designed in a way that you cannot actually go and cheat and you cannot plagiarize. Now, for people who've attempted to go and plagiarize in the past, the answer was very obvious. They got very low marks or they got a 0. So the academic integrity and the similarity of those assignments is regularly being checked. No assignment is marked before checking all of these similarity. And when we check similarity, we check the reason for the similarity. So do not copy, do not paste. That's the only message that I'm going to go and tell you. Do the work yourself. We will help you, but we cannot help you if you do not actually go and do the work yourself. So do the work yourself so that you can give us a chance to go and help you get the right outcome. You cannot copy ideas, you cannot copy phrases, you cannot copy paragraphs, formulas, methods, evidence. You cannot copy coding. You just need to go and make sure you do your own work and do the referencing accordingly. We want you to do well, and one thing that could prevent you from doing well is academic integrity. So please do not fall in this trap, and let's try to help you to get the right outcomes. So starting now with the capstone project, what is the introduction? The introduction, I want you to know about these very important details. That is my email, that's my personal phone number, and these are my consultation hours. Wednesday, if you are in webinar 1, 11:30 to 12 is available there for you to ask me questions. Wednesday, webinar B, it's 3 to 3:30. You finish the class between 1 and 3, and you will basically be able to go and get the consultation after that time between 3 and 3:30. So please make sure you are aware of those times that are available. Please attend your own webinar, because I need to assign you to people in your own webinar. And please know that if you need to go and get support in other days, I'm actually happy to go and really support you during those days. You just need to go and make contact, and you'll find me ready to go and actually go and contact you and support you. I remind you about the similarity in plagiarism and copyright. You cannot copy and paste anything without acknowledging who that work belongs to, and that will help you to avoid a lot of risk and a lot of problems. I spoke about that before, so I'm not going to go again, but please be careful you abide by those requirements. So what am I going to be talking about today? I'm going to be explaining what a capstone project is, what's its purpose, and what are the outputs we are going to go and be producing. I'm going to explain the common parts in a capstone project, and I'm going to discuss the capstone groups and the way we are going to go and arrive forward. What is a capstone project, guys? A capstone project for information technology is really a practical essay where we expect you to demonstrate the knowledge that you have gained throughout the course. So we've been teaching you about information system, we've been teaching you, about planning, about strategy, about project management, about, so many various topics we're teaching you throughout your degree. Now, what are you going to be doing here? You are going to be picking up all of these topics that basically were done previously, and you are going to go and try to apply them all together in a way that you are going to go and find a project and start implementing that project in practice. The reason why we're doing this is because when you arrive to go and work in a real company, that is where you need to go and be able to go and get to. You need to be able to be ready to work with teams, work on projects, works on various tasks to be able to go and get particular outcomes to go and be delivered. So we are trying to go and set you up to be ready to work in industry. Now, my recommendation to you is you focus very well on doing very, very good jobs. And the reason why that's particularly important now is because you can go and show your prospective employers, you can show them what you have actually, what you are able to go and deliver based on all of this learning you've done throughout the course. So we want you to go and show people that you can now go and join a team and start working in the information technology field. And that's why it's very, very important that you basically start looking at that in much details to be able to go and get the job done. So that's the first thing I will tell you. Please, show us what you know and use your time properly to deliver quality outcomes, and then leave those outputs. For example, if you've created a website, if you created a system, leave a copies of it so that when you go to a prospective employer, you can show them the quality of the work you can do, and you can basically tell them why they should actually go and employ you in your organization. You show them how valuable they could gain, the outcome and the benefit they could gain by basically adding someone like you to their team. So guys, why is a capstone project important? What do you think? What do you think, my friends? Why is a capstone project important?
It covers all the aspects of the IT.
It covers all the aspects of the IT. That's correct. Can you give me an example, Sagan?
Yeah, like the learning, like getting the team working on it, getting the project working on it.
Okay. So let me ask you, Sagar, when you go to real life, what are you going to be doing?
So as a team, maybe I'm working as a team for some projects to develop like some infrastructure for banks, like cloud infrastructure from them.
Okay, let me ask you, do you think people in IT work in individuals or they all work in a team?
Yeah, people can work as individual or work in a team as well. So if the task is very high, very big, then they can work in the team. But yeah, people can work in individual as well.
Absolutely, my friend. It is about basically working individually. You might be doing individual tasks, but that individual task is usually presented to a team. You're actually working with other people to be able to get a proper outcome. That's a very good answer, my friend. Thank you very much, Sagar. Who else could basically comment on this point? Why is a capstone project important? What will it do for you? Why is it important? Ashish Bandari, what do you think? Come on, guys. I like your interaction. We are now very close to going to start working in a business. And to be able to work in a business, we need to be talking, we need to be working together. So we can't, tell me, my friend.
Yeah, I think so. As you mentioned earlier, that in this capstone project, we're gonna plan and implement all the things that we're gonna do on a capstone too, and which is exactly required in an organization. Because in organization, we cannot just walk like go and just start doing coding or anything like that. We need to plan, implement, create a blueprint, everything. So this capstone project gonna teach us exactly how we can get fit in an organization when we go to work there. Like it's not all the go. We need to plan, we need to implement everything, analyze, and then start working. So it's something similar like that. So I think it's gonna help. The capstone project gonna help us in that way. So it's very important.
Mate, it's a very, very well summarized. I really like that response. And what I would like to say, you're 100% correct. To be able to go and get a particular outcome to go and be delivered, it is very, very important to go and work in a team. It's not like you're going to go and then suddenly you're going to start implementing. That's correct. That's not how things happen. You need to start from the beginning. You need to go through a problem. Business is not going to go and say, oh yeah, I'll give you all the money in the world, don't worry about it. They're going to say, show me why we should do it. Show me why. And that's where the business case come into play. That's why I told you to create a business case, because I want you to be able to make a job of creating a convincing report on why something needs to go and be done. That's the first thing to really go and bear in mind. If you can't convince people, specifically management, on why something needs to go and be done, guess what? They won't give you any of the funding and you can't proceed. The point, stop there. Then you go to the next step. All right, great. Now they said, boom, go ahead. We're going to allow you to go and start working. What's going to happen there? Well, they want you to know, what are we going to be delivering? What are the requirements? What are the functional requirements? What are the non-functional requirements? Let's go and talk about them. You're going to have to speak to people in businesses. You're going to have to go and understand what they want. You're going to have to go and get the outcomes written in an appropriate manner to really reach the goals we would like to go and really reach. And what happened there? Then you go and you start basically implementing the work by creating the right design, the right implementation plan before you even start the actual work of getting the job done. But one very important thing I want to tell you, the reason why I found these projects or these assignments very, very important is because when you go and apply for a job, your job is to go and market yourself. Now, if you don't market yourself well, you cannot get a job. Now, I need you to market yourself well. You're going to say, why do you need me to market myself well? The reason why is because once you finish your degree, you can stay in Australia to be able to go and get experience. You will have a couple of years to be able to go and do that. If you are able to get those couple of years of experience on your belt, that will enable you to be able to potentially stay in Australia. It will make it much more easier for you to stay in Australia. That's potentially if you're sponsored for, to stay in this country, or we can go and actually apply and make a skill assessment and show them that you have the skill that are needed. And that will help you again to stay in this country. So the purpose is I want you to go and have as much experience as possible in IT, which will help you to go and get a good job, which will help you to market yourself well. If we do the assignment well, you create a marketing plan for you, you go to the business, you show it to your prospective employer, they're going to say, oh, this guy is very, very good, or this lady is very, very good. They're going to give you a job, you're going to start piling up the experience, and guess what? Within 2-3 years, you can be on over 100,000 job in this country and moving upward. And that's what I would like as a future for you. So it's very important from learning what happened in real life, but it's also very important from a perspective of, I want you to make sure you're going to go and market yourself well, to have a future in this country, to be able to get good outcomes. So do your job well, do not do it in a quick manner. Do a proper work so that you can get a proper feedback and make the improvements that are needed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think you will produce in a capstone project? What are you going to be producing? What do you think?
Change it, maybe.
Sorry, my friend, what's that, Aman? Sorry, Aman, didn't hear you. What was that?
Yeah. Yes, so maybe I can make some changes in the system, like whatever they will. Yeah, so there may be some sorts of problems, so I can sort it out, find out, and maybe I can make a change and give a good remarks for the company or something.
Okay, well, that's correct, but you're not making the change yet. You're planning the change. Does that make difference? You're planning the change in this subject. You're implementing the change in Capstone Project 2.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. That's the planning, so I can if they're okay to implement my changes and everything, and like.
Correct. Yeah. So you're planning the whole work. You're planning what needs to be done. That's correct. That's something we want to do. Can anybody go into more specific things? Tell me, I'm going to be doing. What do you think?
Actually, sir. I've done a bit of coding, just a basic, and from that I can know, like if if we directly start making the project, then if some changes need to be made in between, so we need to revise the whole code, whole thing. We need to maybe change or delete something. But if we plan before, or make a good blueprint out of what we have in mind and what we're gonna create, and so while creating a project, we can go according to the plan or according to the algorithm what we have created. So it will be a lot more easier and no need to change in between, so it can make a mess.
Okay, let me stop at this point of time, Ashish. I want you to think about project from two perspectives. There is a perspective of traditional project management, and there's a perspective of agile project management. Okay, and really whether change is going to happen, whether you create a prototype and then whether you make a change after, is really going to be dependent on what sort of implementation approach you are going to be using. Okay, so I'm not going to go and limit you to any implementation approach, and I'm going to be discussing that in week 7 and week 8. But you can implement the project in any approach you deem appropriate, as long as the good thing is that you can implement it and you'll be able to go and learn whether something worked as you want it to actually go and work. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you guys could think about we're going to be implementing? Anyone? All right. I will gonna go and say is I want you to be doing a number of things. I want you to be doing your your proposal here specifically. I want you to be doing your requirements, and I want you to be doing your design and your implementation plan. These are the 4 main things I'm going to be talking about that you are going to be doing. But what I want you to know is there are a number of, if you want, sections, 10 sections to include in your proposal. There's your title, obviously, the capstone project title. There's an abstract, which is a summary of your capstone project. There's a table of content. There's an introduction, which should be a set of stage for your project. You know what? That's the introduction. You need to go and talk about the description of the problem. What is the issue? Outline the problem and how it will tackle it. Research potentially, because you might be doing some research for your for your work. For example, let's say we want to solve a problem. Okay, how are you going to solve it? Well, we might actually be able to go and look at people that might actually have solved it in a certain manner. You might be able to go and learn from them, pick up some research from them, and incorporating that as part of your solution. So you would conduct some research about the background of the potential work, show what is already known, and potentially will be able to go and guide you on what you would like to go and be implementing. You need to be describing the project, what methods you use and how you conducted your research. And you need to make your conclusion. What were the outcomes from your research and what do they actually mean? There's also references and appendices, but this is a general structure you would usually go and find in a capstone project. What I've done is I've made a bit of an adjustment. I've actually went and created a particular structure for you for both assignment 1, assignment 2, and assignment 3 to try to make things for you as easy as it could be. And I gave you structures to really simplify the work that you need to do. So if you read my briefing documents, they will give you clear guidance on the best structure that you're recommended to use for each of the assignments and what's a marking guide that is relevant for each of these assignments, because the marking guides are different based on the assignments you're actually doing. What are information technology projects? Well, there are different projects we could go and think about. It's basically where you are trying to go and implement a group, a group project. I'm not going to go and potentially go too much as a group task because I'm noticing we don't have a lot of time actually left to be able to go and do that. But let me just leave it with you guys. Can you give me some example capstone projects that you could actually go and be implementing? Can you give me some examples? What do you think? Anyone?
So like we can create like any billing system for any organization. It also comes inside the project, like capstone project.
Yeah, you want to create a billing system. Can you elaborate more on what sort of things we need to have in that billing system?
In billing systems are like customer records and how often the customer are coming. Like if the regular customer are coming, we don't need to put the record repeatedly or something like that. So it's just gonna show the history and everything about the customer, and it's just like a billing system. It's not very much popular in Australia, but in our country, the billing system is pretty much popular. So I just gave the example.
Okay, fair enough. And basically, if you want to talk about a billing system, you need to talk in more details about what are the features of that billing system. You think about what are non-functional requirements of that system. Do they need to be secure? Do they need particular authentication? You need to think about the functional requirements. What functions are they going to do? Are they going to go in emailing receipts? Are they going to, I don't know what, allow the customer to go and automatically check their records? You need to go and think about all of these things you might be able to go and incorporate as part of those features and requirements. But I have no objection as long as we're going to go through step by step and be clarifying in details what are the things we are trying to go and be implementing. I will say, however, I'll be giving you many more examples in the webinar this week, but for this week, I want you to start thinking about, what we could potentially go and do and start thinking about the ideas accordingly. But that's a good start. Thank you very much. Anyone else could give me another example of an IT project? Anyone else? Guys, where do you guys pick up your lecture slides from? Where can you pick up your lecture slides from?
From the module.
Thank you, Bharat. Let me ask you a question. Is that Moodle, is that a system? Is that something that required an IT project to develop?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who is going to go and create it? Who's going to make the website? If I want to go and manage volunteers and I would like to go and track whether they are having they're working with children check. If I want to go and track when they are logging in, when they are logging off, is that a project?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
It
it's all
is.
of these things. Is creating a food delivery app a project?
Mm-hmm.
Is creating a website for a migration business a project?
Yeah, it is.
All of these are various types of IT projects. So you need to think about the project. You need to go out there and try to find an issue that you think it's worth solving. It could be at your employer. It could be something that is happening in your community. It could be something that will require a booking for, I don't know, the gym booking in your building. I don't know. You could go and think about any project you could think about and think how you can go and implement that and try to convince us why is there value from doing that particular project. We're going to go and talk about choosing the capstone group members. Now, this is something that you guys will be able to go and start doing from now. So if you know, for example, there are two of you that are doing the same specialization because your project needs to be based on that specialization. So if you are, let's say, specializing in business information system, and you know another friend that is specializing in business information system, and if you know you would like to be working with that person, then you can email me the details of yourself and that person. And what will happen from there is you are able to go and be choosing, and you will be assigned to that group member as long as that person is actually in your tutorial. So you can't work with someone who is not in your tutorial group. You can work with someone in your tutorial as long as they are doing the same specialization, because when you're going to pick up that project for Capstone 2, you guys need to go and be implementing that project that is relating to your specialization. There is going to be individual grading in groups, which mean if any people in the group do not do the work the way that they are expected to do, they will be basically checked and their marks are going to be significantly reduced. We've done it before. If someone basically contributed only 50%, and if the group got 100 over 100, that person will only get 50 over 100. It is not an easy go for anybody. It is about everybody sitting down and working hard on each assignment to be able to do the job well. The individual assignment 1, the individual assignment 2, as well as the group assignment. You need to be working as a group to get the job done. So if you know any members you would like to work with, they are in your tutorial and they are doing the same specialization, you can be working with them, and you need to go and let me know that you would like to go and really work with them.
Yes, thank you, sir. So just it will be one friend, or I can make more than one?
4 people.
Oh, 4
In the
people
first
altogether.
instance, 4 people, my friend.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome, Bharat. Thank you very much for asking. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the key terms to think about in terms of what we're covering today: capstone, what is a project, the abstract, the table of content, the intro, the importance of us describing what the problem we are going to be solving, the research that needs to be done, the description of that project to make sure it's clear to everybody what it is, conclusion of the overall work, references, appendices. These are some of the terms that you need to start thinking about. And you need to start thinking, do I incorporate any of these things as part of my group assignment? And to get the answer of that, or the individual assignment, to get the answer for that, you need to go and check your briefing documents, and you're picking up from that information that is actually there. Now, I want you to do some work before you are going to be coming to your webinar. I need you to research potential capstone projects that are relevant to your specialization and the ones that you would like to go and pursue. You might find a problem out there, you'd say, I would like to go and pursue that particular problem. Once you basically go and identify that particular project, I want you to write it down on a paper. You might identify more than one potential project. That would be great. I want you to write them all on a paper. I want you to write them and bring them with you, because when we come to the class this week, we are going to start discussing all of those ideas that basically that you would like to go and think about. We're going to go and discuss them. We're going to discuss their applicability. We're going to discuss, with other team members, what do they think about those particular ideas. So I want all of you to really think about those and trying to come up with some ideas as you actually come to our webinar on Wednesday this week. I want you to also think about various ways of choosing your group members. Who do you want to choose? I don't choose someone simply because they're my friend. I need to choose them because they have a particular skill that they can actually add to my project. Are they good at developing? Are they good at planning? Are they good at writing a business case? Are they good at reviewing things? Are they good at leading? You think, what is that person going to bring to your team? Don't just choose anybody, choose people who are going to be contributing and add value to your team. So please make sure you think carefully about the people you are going to be using as part of your work. Third thing is, think how you are going to be dealing with group dynamics. When you are with a group and you have a friend you've chosen, and that friend is not doing their job, what are you going to do about it? You're going to go and report them? Are you going to go and speak to them? How many chances are you going to go and give them? If you give them so many chances and they don't actually listen and they don't do the job, what are you going to do about it? These are all things you need to think about up front. Don't leave it to the end, because as you leave it at the end, you might find yourself choosing and working with someone who is not pulling their weight, who is not doing the job the way the job needs to go and be done. So please be careful from the beginning about what we need to do to get the job implemented appropriately. I want to remind you all that I care about you. I'm not someone who just come teach you to teach you. I'm someone who cares about you as individuals. I'm someone who wants to do well. I'm someone who will do his best to go and support you to be able to go and do well. I am really your big brother if you want. And if you want, I am your friend. I'm here to help you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sir, just a confusion. So it will be just one project. So we will need to choose or discuss before we head up towards the project, or like a final discussion with the group, or it should be just one person do one project research for upcoming webinar.
Okay, for this week, You
Yes.
think about any project. You might, it's individual tasks. You might think about a couple of projects you could do. Just
Yeah.
write them as ideas and bring them with you to the class. No need to discuss with any group because you're not part of any group just yet.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bharat.
No problem.
Any other questions, guys? Any other questions, anybody?
No, sir.
So till now, everything's clear.
Thank you, Sagar. Thank you, Ashish. And thank you all for your time. I'm really, really glad you came. I expect you to be coming to your webinars and lectorials every week on time from the beginning till the end. I promise you, I'll try not to be boring. And I promise you, I'll do my best to go and help you out. Thank you very much for coming today. Have a great day. I'll see you again on Wednesday this week. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See
sir.
you. Thank you, Aman. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
Thank you, Aman. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bharat. All the best, my friend. See you, everyone.